Hello, my dear friends. Recently, one of my friends asked me, after so many years in the classroom, what does teaching really mean to you? That simple question, stayed with me for days. I thought about it quietly, not as a retired master, not as someone who has spent decades in education, but as a learner who is still learning from life. And that's why I decided to share this reflection today. Not to speak of achievement or awards, but to express my gratitude for a journey that gave meaning to my life. I share this with all my Facebook friends, my fellow teachers, parents, and students in the hope that my story may remind someone that teaching is not just a profession, it's a lifelong act of love and understanding. When I look back at my life, I often ask myself, what truly defines a teacher? Is it the years spent in service, the results students achieve, or the awards received along the way? For me, it has always been something simpler, the joy of helping someone understand. Teaching has never been just my profession, it has been my way of life. And even today, after retirement, I find myself learning from life, from others, and from the quiet lessons time continued to offer. My journey in education began many years ago and eventually led me to shop as that master. Those were fulfilling years, full of challenges, laughter, and countless memories shared with my students. Over the decades, I watched children grow into confident young adults, and that to me has always been the truest reward of teaching. In 2021, I was deeply honored with the District Award, and the following year, District Award. Both recognition humbled me deeply. They reminded me that quiet dedication, though often unseen, never goes unnoticed. Yet, even then, I knew no award could ever compare to the joy of seeing a student finally understand something new, or hearing a shy child speak with confidence for the first time. After retirement, I thought my teaching days were over. But a few months later, I was invited to teach again at a reputed private school in Tura. Retirement had just begun to feel comfortable, but something within whispered, go back once more. Your mission is not over yet. So I did. This time I taught mathematics to classes 7, 8, English grammar to class 9, and English literature to class 11. After years at headmaster, being a classroom teacher again felt humbling yet deeply refreshing, you know. The chalk, the blackboard, and the bright eyes before me reignited something within that I thought had faded. Teaching mathematics was a challenge, Most students were sincere but had weak foundations. Their feelings of the subject ran deep. I realized their struggles were not due to a lack of intelligence. It was because somewhere along the way, the joy of understanding had been replaced by the pressure to perform. So I decided to teach differently, not just to make them pass, but to make them understand. I connected numbers with real life, made lessons conversational, and turned questions into little puzzles. Of course, not everyone succeeded in exams. Some toppers even failed in mathematics. A few questioned my method. How can a teacher be good when students fail? But I wasn't upset because my purpose was never marks. It had a meaning. And slowly things began to change. Students who once feared mathematics began asking questions. Some even call me after school hours saying, "Sir, can you explain this again? I really want to understand." Those calls meant more to me than any report card, you know, because a teacher's success lies not in 100% result but in 100% effort from both sides. Alongside lessons, I often spoke about the power of subconscious mind, positive thinking, how attitude shapes our destiny. Sometimes the class turned into a lively forum, everyone eager to share. Yes, it grew noisy at times, but I never silenced that noise. It was not disturbance, it was expression. It was the sound of minds coming alive. A good classroom, I believe, is not one where students sit quietly, but one where curiosity fills the air like music. One day, after English grammar class, a quiet student said softly, "Sir, I never thought grammar could be so funny and interesting. Since then, my love for grammar began." And that one line touched my heart deeply. It reminded me that when we teach with love, students remember more than lessons. They remember feelings. In my final months there, I overworked myself, planning lessons late into the nights, helping weaker students, experimenting with new ways to make learning meaningful. Perhaps I pushed too hard. My health began to remind me that I had already given my best years to this calling. So, with a heavy heart, I stepped down after 6 months. And when the news spread, I received messages from my students. "Sir, why did you leave? You were the best teacher we ever had." Those simple words moved me beyond measures. Awards are precious, yes, but love and remembrance from students are, eternal. Though retired, I still feel connected to my students. Many still messages me for advice or just to say hello. Each message reminds me that teaching never truly ends, it only changes form. If I have learned one thing through all these years, it is this: education begins with curiosity, but it flowers through compassion. I may no longer stand before a blackboard every morning, but I continue to teach through words, through experience, and through the gentle lessons life still send my way. And if some small way I have helped even one student believe in themselves, then I think I have lived my purpose well. On my Teachers Day, I received a message that still humbles me. The message says, "Happy Teachers Day, sir. Your way of teaching makes learning not only easier but also enjoyable. You explain with such patience and clarity that every student understands. You never rush. You give us time, and your kindness creates a positive atmosphere. What I admire most is how you blend knowledge with real life examples. Even the hardest lessons become simple. Thank you for being such a wonderful teacher." Those words mean more to me than any title ever could. They remind me that the greatest legacy a teacher leaves behind is not written in buildings or result, but in the hearts that remember them with gratitude. If you have taken a moment to listen my stories, thank you. I share it not as a record of my past, but as a gentle reminder that every teacher, every parent, every mentor carries the power to save a life, sometimes without even realizing it. Teaching has been the most beautiful chapter of my life, and even though the class has changed, the calling remains the same: to keep learning, to keep inspiring, and to keep giving. If through these words one teacher rediscover purpose or one student find hope in learning again, then I shall consider my sharing today well worth it. This much for today. Thank you so much for listening to me. I will be back with some other new thought. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice time. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe. Thank you.